Have you ever had that feeling, that nagging thought that you're somehow running out of time to do the things you really want to do? That there's some kind of invisible clock ticking down on your dreams? Well, in this explainer, we are going to completely tear that idea apart. We're going to discover why your potential isn't on a schedule and why your greatest moments could very well still be ahead of you.
Does this sound familiar? You know, this idea of a milestone calendar? It's this unwritten rule book that tells us when we're supposed to have it all figured out. And it's so easy to feel like you're falling behind. But what if that calendar is total fiction? What if your biggest, most exciting chapters haven't even been written yet?
All right, so let's start by just blowing up some myths. We're going to take a look at a few incredible people who threw that so-called calendar right out the window and ended up changing the world long after most people would have counted them out.
I mean, just look at this. The sheer variety here is what's so amazing. You've got Colonel Sanders, who started a global food empire at 62. Vera Wang, launching her iconic fashion brand at 40. And then you have Fauja Singh, who ran his first marathon at an absolutely astonishing 89 years old. These stories just go to show you success isn't for one type of person, and it certainly doesn't belong to just one decade of your life.
Okay, so these stories are incredibly inspiring, right? But I know what you might be thinking. That's great for them, but what about me? Are they just the exceptions? Well, as it turns out, this has nothing to do with luck. There's real, hard science that shows our ability to learn, to grow, and to succeed. It's not set in stone.
So let's just tackle that question head-on. Is this potential only for a gifted few? The answer is a huge, resounding no. The ability to grow is literally built into our biology. And it all kicks off with one simple thing: how we think about our own abilities.
It really comes down to this. On one side, you have the fixed mindset. This is the belief that your talents are what they are. You're born with them. If you have to try hard at something, it just means you're not good at it. But on the other side, you have the growth mindset. This is the game-changing belief that you can develop your abilities through dedication and hard work. Effort isn't a side of failure. It's the path to getting better. Just shifting from one column to the other is unbelievably powerful.
And here's the science that backs it all up. It's a concept called positive plasticity. See, your brain isn't this static thing that stops developing when you're a young adult. Not at all. It's much more like a muscle. The more you challenge it, the more you learn, the more it literally changes, building new pathways and getting stronger. And this capacity, it never goes away. It's a lifelong feature. So having a growth mindset is like having the engine for change. But resilience is the fuel. It's not always enough to just believe you can grow. You also need the grit to push through when that growth gets tough. Resilience is what turns a roadblock into a launch pad.
So what does resilience actually look like? Well, it really boils down to three things. It starts with recovery, the ability to get knocked down and get back up. But what keeps you moving is sustained purpose, that deep inner drive that pulls you forward. And then the real magic happens: growth. This is the incredible ability to not just get through a tough time, but to actually come out the other side, stronger and more capable than you were before.
Okay, so we've got the inspiring stories and the science. Now for the really good part. Let's get practical. How do you actually put all of this into motion? How do you start writing that new chapter for yourself? This is your playbook.
Man, this is always the big question, isn't it? It can feel like a lot. You might be thinking, okay, I'm sold, but where on earth do I even start? The good news is it doesn't have to be some giant, terrifying leap. It's all about small, deliberate steps.
You can really see a path here. It starts inside with you, choosing your attitude and setting clear goals. You decide you want to grow, and you define what that looks like. Then you start to move outward. You embrace lifelong learning, and you find a community of people who get it. And finally, you find real meaning when you think outside yourself, when you connect to something bigger. Each one of these steps is a powerful tool for building whatever comes next for you.
So when you put it all together, the stories, the science, the strategies, you arrive at a really powerful new way of seeing things. The limits that we think come with age, a lot of them are just stories we tell ourselves or stories society tells us.
I absolutely love this quote from Samuel Ullman. It just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? Youth isn't really about the date on your driver's license. It's about having that spark, that curiosity, that refusal to be bored with life. And that is a choice we get to make every single day.
And that's really the heart of it all. This is the big takeaway. The number of years you've been on this planet doesn't define your capacity, your value, or your potential. Your mindset, your attitude, and what you choose to do, that's what shapes your life.
So as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with one final thought. One powerful question to really chew on. Just let that sink in for a second.
If you took away the number, all the expectations, all the shoulds that come with it, who would you be? What would you be curious about? What new thing would you start? The answer to that question, well, that might just be the beginning of your next great adventure.